Yo, yo, yo. You guys already know who it is, but for those who don't, my name is Beezus, a.k.a. Brandon.
And I'm Jeremy.
And we are coming to you live once again to talk to you about some of our favorite things. And that's sports.
Yeah, we got a big sports week this week. Got a lot of things going on. Free agency in baseball has finally come off a freeze after the Soto signing. We'll get into that. You got the NBA Cup started up last night in the quarterfinals.
Yes, Lord.
And then you also have, obviously, the NFL heading into the last 25% of the regular season. Last push. You know, see what teams are doing what teams. You had some surprises last week, some craziness last week, and then what we have going into this week.
That's right.
So, why don't we just, last time, we did football last. Why don't we start with football this
week? Okay, we're going to start with the pigskin. Let's get it going.
Start with the pigskin. Starting with, last week, the Chiefs did it again.
I just have really no words for what's going on. They just find ways to win.
Like, I sat there and watched that game, and I'm like, at the end, I know they're gonna I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're gonna win.
They got a third string kicker in.
Right.
They don't even sweat it. It's like they know, like, no bad can happen to them. They have a third string kicker, and instead of trying to take it in the end zone from like the 9-yard, like, nope, we're gonna give the third string kicker, his whatever. And what does he do? Boing! Right off the inside of the upright.
Crazy.
Right through. Makes it in. They win by 2 points again.
Unbelievable.
Just find a way to win. Moves them to, I believe, 12-1. Only lost to Buffalo. Speaking of another crazy thing, Buffalo, in an absolute shootout, Josh Allen has maybe the top 3 game of his career. 3 touchdown passes, 3 rushing touchdowns.
Crazy.
And they lose 44-42.
Almost a little Burrow-esque, if you ask me.
Someone forgot to tell Buffalo's defense to get on the plane.
Crazy.
So they must have pulled some fans out of the stands to play defense, because it certainly didn't look like NFL ones out there. The normal Buffalo defense that held Kansas City and everything in check. But Puka looked like he's one of the top 3 receivers in the NFL, and he may be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's so nice to see. Kind of reminds me of my boys back in the day. Go Patriots!
Oh, good.
But no, seriously, all seriousness, I mean, just another well-coached team once again. Kansas City, they can't. It's almost like we're about to just give them the trophy unless Detroit has something to say about it.
I think Detroit might have something to say about it. You never know. Buffalo, they lost this past week, but they beat Kansas City, the only ones that beat them. Now it's looking more and more like in the playoffs, because of the loss by Buffalo, they're going to be playing in Kansas City in the playoffs.
Man,
that's
tough.
That's going to be tough. I know last year was the first time Patrick Mahomes in his 6th year in the NFL or whatever, he actually had to play a road game in the playoffs last year. That's insane to have won 2 Super Bowls, been in the playoffs like 4 or 5 times, and never had to have played on the road in the playoffs. Well, it's looking like this year they're not going to have to do it again. So they're going to be playing on a neutral site in the Super Bowl, about the only time they wouldn't be in Kansas City. I don't want to see it again. I want to see someone different, someone new. But they're hard to go against. They're playing well. They're playing really well right now. Some of the other stuff that happened this past week. I mean, Vikings pulled away from the Falcons at the end.
Sorry, Dad.
My Dolphins needed overtime, but they beat the Jets. Aaron Rodgers tried to channel his younger self for 4 quarters, but the Dolphins didn't let him get the ball in overtime.
I think Aaron Rodgers is about to either go to a new team or hit that retirement button, because they're not happy with him at all.
No, I mean, they're 3-12, I think. 3-11.
3-11. They've lost 1 more game than we have. We're 3-10. Let's go, baby! Battle of the draft picks.
So and honestly, the only thing that's keeping you guys from being that top pick is the New York
Giants. And you know what? I'm not that mad that the Giants are playing this bad, because what other team should it happen to? These guys are.
I have to go look and see who did the Giants lose to this week, because we know they lost. Oh, they lost to the Saints.
Love it.
14-11.
Who that?
I did the Saints.
Who that?
That was one of our toilet bowl specials. As we saw, like Brand said, the Lions are hot. Lions Packers was a freaking
What a
amazing
game. That was a great game.
That was a great game.
I mean, shout out to Love. What a young quarterback, but he's still holding his own. I think he's got some promise out there. I mean, they just seem to just get good quarterback after good quarterback after good quarterback. Is this something in Wisconsin that these guys are just oh, you're a good quarterback? Come on, I got a home for you.
Not the, make your dad even worse, but Brett Favre was drafted by Atlanta.
What'd they do?
They shipped him off to Green Bay.
That man was on the bench. He was on the bench.
And they sent Brett Favre up to Green Bay, where he now first ballot Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, and then they, had Aaron Rodgers sitting on the bench for 4 years or something like that behind Brett Favre, and then he won the Super Bowl. And now they got Love, who it seems like he's ready to start taking over and start being that guy. I mean, he's playing very, very well. So I think you're going to have Green Bay. I don't think they'll get it this year. I think they're still a year or two away, because I think Philadelphia and Detroit are kind of holding down the NFC right now at this point for this season. But you never know. Playoffs, crazy things happen. Playoffs? Can't even win a game.
That's us.
That being said, that's kind of a basic recap of last week.
Right.
This upcoming week, starting with tomorrow night, you have the Rams and the 49ers.
Oof. I'm going Rams just because, just because. 49ers have been looking like dog shit lately. So
They have. And the Rams just coming off a fresh upset of Buffalo.
Right.
And scoring 44 points.
Yeah.
And now that Puka, Nacua, and Cooper Kupp are healthy.
Them boys.
And the running back, Williams.
Ooh!
They're looking good.
And this is the best time to start looking great.
And they're only one game out of Seattle in that division. The Rams could sneak in there. And I tell you
could.
what, the Rams could, with Stafford at quarterback, veteran Super Bowl winner, he could be problems for someone. They could surprise some people in the playoffs.
But it wouldn't be a surprise because the Rams, what was it, about 3-4 years ago, they won the Super Bowl? Now, granted, they had a whole different defense or whatever. They had some different pieces on the team, but they still had the same coach.
Yeah, same coach, same quarterback. Cooper Kupp's still there.
Right.
And they lost, a couple of wide receivers, but they've gained Puka since then. Puka Nakua's,
What do you have, 3 touchdowns?
2 or 3 touchdowns. Last
Crazy.
year as a rookie, he had like 1,400 yards receiving. He missed 6 or 7 games this year, but he had 160, 70 yards receiving this past week. So he's doing amazing. He's trying to make himself a top 3, top 5 receiver in the league. He's not Justin Jefferson or Chase yet, but he's working his way there.
He's on his way. I thought it was Palomalu's son.
Hair flying up.
Hey, who is that guy?
And then you have and then first thing starting off, this game's going to be interesting. You have Kansas City at Cleveland, and I just have this feeling that Cleveland, what's his name's going to throw 4 touchdown passes, but he's going to throw that random pick 6 that's going to win the game for Kansas City with like 30 seconds left.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think this is another win for Kansas City. I like Winston a lot. I love what he brings to any ball club because he's just such a positive dude, man, and you need guys like that in the locker room. But come on, let's be honest. Kansas City's going to do what they've been doing all season, and that's win the ball.
And they're going to win. I don't see any surprises there.
No, not a shocker.
Cincinnati at Tennessee. I don't think that Tennessee's not very good. I'm going to take Cincinnati.
Well, I think Cincinnati is in a groove. It's just it sucks that it's one of those situations where it's kind of
little too
late.
Yep.
We're playing for stats at this point.
And they're doing that.
And Jamar Chase and Burrow, I mean, these guys, they're putting up Madden fantasy numbers. But at the end of the day, it's like I know, if you don't win the game, it looks cool on paper, but it looks even better with the dub.
Yeah.
So. But yeah. I think, I'll give it to Cincinnati. They're going to come out and keep doing
I think this one, honestly, I think this one's going to be ugly. Tennessee's been struggling on offense. I'm thinking Cincinnati goes away. I think Cincinnati's going to finally have a breakout game. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be like, 37 to like 10.
Damn, a blowout?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a blowout. Washington at New Orleans. This is one of them games where Washington should just...
Commanders all day.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Washington, New Orleans almost lost the Giants.
And the Commanders need this game.
Yeah,
they really need this game.
They've gotten They bounce back a little bit. They can't lose to a team like New Orleans if they expect to be any kind of problem in the playoffs. So
I think they are a wild card right now.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're definitely a wild card.
You can't mess around and lose these games.
No, they're in right now and they're pretty comfortably in. But you can't lose to New Orleans because that could you can't go down the stretch here with 3 or 4 games. You need to win the ones that you're supposed to win.
You have to.
Baltimore. It's a bye week. Baltimore at the Giants.
Well, I mean, and this is when Lamar Jackson should start to put up MVP type numbers. I want to see at least 3 touchdowns thrown and give me 1 rushing. You guys should beat the absolute dog shit out of this team. There should be no remains on that plate. I'm talking about eat your food. Don't play with your food. Eat this food. Take care of business and get these midgets out of here.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson shouldn't even play the second half.
No.
This game should be done by halftime. If it's not,
absolutely,
they're messing up because he should be done. They should have their starters out, not getting anyone hurt at halftime. Get them out of there. It should be 35, 38, nothing at halftime. Giants can't score. Their defense did decent against New Orleans last week, but everyone's defense looks good against New Orleans.
Yeah.
So, I don't see how this shouldn't even be a game. But Baltimore's been playing to the level of their opponent. They play really good against good teams,
right,
and they struggle against bad teams. So we'll see how it goes, but that should be an easy one.
Definitely, Baltimore.
You got the Cowboys playing Carolina in Carolina.
If Carolina beats this team, everybody should be fired immediately. Immediately. Carolina is terrible. So, but shout out to the Simpsons. That was such a good little alternate game that we watched the other night. When they subbed in Cooper Rush for Homer Simpson, and Homer Simpson proceeded to throw a dot in the end zone. Maybe you guys should go seek Homer Simpson.
Simpson. What's his name? Bundy from the old Married with Children.
Married with Children. Yeah, he throws dots too.
Yeah, I mean he scored the 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns in the state title game. Let's give that man a shot.
Who said a shoe salesman couldn't be an MVP as well? Come on, cut it out.
He could be an MVP for Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean,
anybody.
That said, I'm taking Carolina. Give me my guy out there. Give me the young quarterback. Give me Bryce Young throwing 3 touchdowns, beating a 24-21. Let's go. I'm taking Carolina in Carolina. Dallas season's over.
Oh, you know what? Dallas season is already over, but I'm still gonna say Dallas. I mean, come on. But I'm waiting for the upset, but I'm expecting Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, I want maybe it's because there's a ranking of my least favorite teams. There's Dallas at number 1.
What did Dallas do?
It's not Dallas. It's their fans.
Oh, see, I'm hearing that a lot. I know a lot of calm Dallas fans. It's crazy. Maybe I just don't know the right ones that you speak.
I know calm Dallas fans, but I still at the beginning of every year they're like, well, look at all we're how many years can you say Dak is the guy before when he keeps losing that you stop saying he's the guy?
Well, it's funny because some of the fans that I talk to, especially at work, they say the exact opposite. They want Dak out of here immediately. They can't wait until something else happens.
Well, they signed him until 2085.
Pissed.
So
these fans were pissed, and he's getting all of this money and he's not producing. And their gripe is, we want to see more in the postseason. You should be getting deep into the playoffs every single year because y'all are them boys. This is America's team. That's what y'all keep telling us.
America's most wanted team.
Right. So, I again have no gripe with this team. I just love the slander that they get because it's just
it's hilarious.
I'm like, damn, what did y'all boys do? What did you do to America? So
they get that Dave Chappelle meme all the time. Can we get more of those 0-6 teams?
Jeez. And when y'all lose, it's just guys are throwing parades every time you guys lose.
That usually is reserved for teams like New England when they were winning in Kansas City. People celebrate. Dallas is just because we had to hear for years and years, even when they weren't winning these bets, whatever. Every time they would every time they make the playoffs, we're gonna do it, and they would just talk so much smack, and then they would lose. And it's kind of like for me, the equivalent to Oklahoma in college. Every time they would play weak ass teams all year freaking long, and then they get to the playoff and they get their ass handed to them by Alabama. I got tired. I'm like, why do we keep putting these guys in the playoffs?
Right.
They suck.
Right.
So And so Oklahoma learned that they got sent to the SEC this year. They finally left the weak ass Big 12, go to the SEC, and they finished like 6-6.
Right.
So they finally learned their lesson. You have to play real teams now.
You're playing legit squads out here.
Then we go. Here we go. Toilet bowl of the week this week is the Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Damn, I thought you were about to say New England, but
no.
I'm going Jacksonville. I have to.
I mean, Jacksonville mac and cheese won this past week. Upset.
I have to. And he's got to play because Sunshine is on the bench. They knocked him out. So
yeah,
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is hurt.
Yeah, I heard him. I think he's done for the season.
Touchdown Jesus, and that's terrible too. I mean, I know I spoke about it last week, but man, every time I look at that hit, it was so uncalled for.
That was a forearm shiver right to a dude's chin, shoving his head into the ground full speed, and you'd be like, "Oh, I wasn't trying to hurt him. What the hell were you trying to do?"
Clearly sliding. The man is on a slip and slide.
Like if you tried to dive over top and you accidentally like clipped him like with your belly as he went by and knocked his head
leg
down.
Or something.
No, your forearm, you put it down and put it into his face and drove him into the ground.
You absolutely knew what you were doing.
Come on now.
Hear that shit at all.
And they'd be like, I shouldn't get a 3-game suspension. Yes, you should.
Actually, you should be the rest of the season. Without pay.
So for me, if you get an illegal hit on a player, and I know this would never happen, but I feel like the rule should be if you put an illegal hit on a player and you knock him out, you should have to sit out as long as he sits out.
Right. I like that.
Trevor Lawrence out for the rest of the season. You're out for the rest of the season. You gave a dirty hit. That's what it is. That's how it goes. So from there you have this is probably the Dolphins' toughest test they have the rest of the season. Miami at Houston. Miami's got to go undefeated the rest of the way. They got to win 4 in a row. They've won 1. They got to go forth, but they're at Houston.
You're my homeboy. Merry Christmas. I'm going Dolphins.
Going what?
Merry Christmas.
Christmas came early this year. He's going Dolphins. I don't know. I want to go Dolphins. CJ Stroud, but the Dolphins are playing a must-win. They have to win it. Houston's kind of got that division. I mean, the rest of their division is not very good. They have the Colts. They have the Jaguars we were just talking about.
Right.
They don't really have much to compete against down there. So they aren't quite as need to win as the Dolphins are. Dolphins need to win. Yeah, I'm gonna give my Dolphins. Tua is playing amazing. They've won like 5 out of 6 games. Even in they're 5-3 or whatever since he came back. They were awful while he was gone. But yeah, I'm gonna go Dolphins. After that, it's a team they need to lose, but they don't seem to be playing anybody, and that's Indy at Denver.
I'm going Denver.
Yeah, Denver in home. Denver's hot. They're 8-5.
Right.
I think they're tied with the Chargers right now in that division for second place. They're the top 2, or they're the 2 teams in the wild card right now. There's a third one in the wild card too. I think it's Baltimore. So those are the 3 teams that are wild cards right now. So I need Denver to lose, but I don't think they're going to. I mean, so yeah, I think Denver beats them, and then this is the game of the week.
Here we go.
Buffalo at Detroit.
Go Detroit.
I think in Detroit, most experts will say that's the toughest place to play right now. Buffalo's coming off a loss. We'll see how they bounce back. I'm thinking Detroit's going to win this one. Buffalo's already got the division clinched. They no longer can get the 1 seed. They're tied for the 2 seed, I think. I think they're tied with the 2 seed with Pittsburgh. But I think Detroit wins this one since they're at home. If it was in Buffalo, I'd flip-flop that. But I'm going to go Detroit.
Detroit, yeah, definitely. It's not a fluke, y'all. It's Detroit.
Now, I say that's a game of the week, but this one's pretty good, too. This one might be ranked up there. If you're from Pennsylvania, you definitely think so.
Okay.
Pittsburgh at Philadelphia.
Go Philly. I would have to think about that. Now I know what you're talking about when it comes with these fans.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Pittsburgh.
Unbelievable.
There's some Pittsburgh fans out there just as bad.
Oh,
just as bad.
With your little towel. Like I told homeboy the other day, yo, I definitely need my rims clean. Get that yellow towel out of here and come shine my damn rims. That's the only thing that towel's good for.
The terrible towel?
It is terrible.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was in Pittsburgh, it falls on the same thing with Buffalo and Detroit. If it was in Pittsburgh, I would pick Pittsburgh. It's in Philadelphia. I'm taking Philadelphia.
Let's go Philly.
Philadelphia going through. This one's interesting. Like I said, Chargers just played the Kansas City tough. They're at home against Tampa Bay this week. Baker Mayfield. That's a good game. I think that one could be interesting.
Ooh, I think the Chargers take them.
I think they do too. I think it'll be a little bit high scoring, but I think Baker falls into kind of that same thing. He's a little bit better version of Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
They like to turn the ball over in key moments. But they make great plays. They can make phenomenal plays. They score a lot of touchdowns. I'm going to be honest. They're kind of like the old gunslingers. They're like a Brett Favre and Dan Marino.
Yeah.
They're going to score you a lot of touchdowns, but they do turn the ball over a lot.
But they forget about it. You could tell,
Yeah.
like, he didn't even remember that.
Next
and he's
play.
back at it. What are we doing? I can get that pass in between 3 defenders because I can put it in a window. And you got to admire a guy's confidence like that, especially that's leading his team out.
You have to. And there's something that Baker Mayfield does not lack. It is confidence.
Absolutely. You can tell.
This man doesn't care. The thing with the Giants, he was like, give him the Italian, hey. And then, I don't know if you remember, there was back when he was in college, there was, I believe it was Oklahoma State, when he was at Oklahoma State, I think it was Oklahoma State. It was one of the teams they were playing. They went out there, they tried to psych him by going out there and not shaking his hand at the beginning of the game.
Right, I remember that.
And by halftime, he had thrown 4 touchdowns, and after the 4th touchdown, he gave him the, home
Exactly.
grab from across the thing. He got destroyed in the media for it because he's in college. This wasn't even the pros, and he's out there. I'm like, hey, they deserved it. They out here. They end up shellacking them like 63-7.
That's disrespectful. It's a friendly game, and you taking it away. Okay, well, I'll take it away. It's funny when people do stuff and you take it, but now when it's my turn, my feelings got hurt. Man, you got to match petty with petty. If you want to be petty, I can be pettier. And I just made it petty. I can be pettier.
Pettier.
Yeah, come on.
And all he did was give him, it's not like, a lot of guys would have started a fight. They started shutting him down. No, he just went out there, scored 4 touchdowns, and said, I got something for you.
I got something for you. And now I have the right to brag because I'm beating the dog shit out you.
Yeah, and, he was out by the middle of the 3rd quarter. They didn't even need him no more. He's over here, on his way to a Heisman Trophy that year.
Yeah, I'm chilling. He's texting his girlfriend.
Yeah. So
what we doing tonight?
Yeah. Where are we going? Where are we celebrating?
I'm good out here.
So, there's that. So, and then you have your Pats are playing at Arizona.
Go! We coming off a bye. Pats fans, we're coming off a bye. You know what this means? We're going to be fresh and lose, okay? We're going to fresh legs and lose. I hope we lose. We got to keep losing. We want Travis Hunter. That's what we want. And we need Travis Hunter. We need some offensive linemen. I already called, wrote, and emailed Kraft. So please, I've talked to him. So hopefully he listens to what the fan base is saying. We need some people who can block for Drake May. We going Pats, baby. Even though I want them to lose, I can never bet against my boys. Pats 67, Cardinals 2, because. We have no O-line, and we're going to get a safety.
Have you guys even scored 67 yet this season?
Yes, in a combined 8 games.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know if you've scored 67 total all season.
Do some math, baby. Let's go Pats.
Man, I honestly would love to give the Christmas spread. I can't pick the Pats. Arizona.
Let's go Pats.
Arizona. I'll have to pick a different game. Maybe next week. We get closer to Christmas, you'll get a Christmas miracle. I don't see it happening this week.
Nah, but go Pats still.
But another good game, Green Bay at Seattle. It's in Seattle, which is a tough place to play. Right. Seattle's up by 1 game in their division, like I said, over top of the Rams. So we got some good games this week.
Critical games.
These are playoff deciding games.
Mm-hmm.
And they may not get a second team down there in the West because they're all so close and they're all like 7-5, 8-5, 7-6. So they only might get 1 team. So that Seattle Rams thing and the Cardinals are right there too. Could all end up being crazy. Green Bay and Seattle. I'll go. I'm going to take Green Bay.
Same.
Green Bay's looked good the last couple weeks. They destroyed Miami. They had Detroit and they barely lost to them. So yeah, I'm going to go Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to come back from that Detroit loss and be ready to play.
Definitely Green Bay, just because what we spoke about Love and the way he's got that team rolling.
Yep.
I like to see young guys come out and show out because they typically always say, he needs 3 to 5 years to get the speed of the game and the IQ of the game and the this and the that. It's good to see these young guys come in and get focused and take teams over and really build a name for themselves, and become franchise players. But and players that man, I remember he was good from jump. It's so nice and refreshing to see that because the game continues to evolve, and these young guys understand that. Say what you want, these guys are talented.
Yep.
These young men can do both. They can use their feet to create plays, and they got rockets. So they got cannons on their arms. So shout out to all the young quarterbacks out there, and they're really making a difference in the league.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got one of them out there, Drake May.
Absolutely,
I mean,
this guy's promising, man. I love it.
Jaden Daniels, another one. He's out there doing things.
Yeah,
I mean, we're about to get to another one, the number 1 overall pick. He's been Caleb Williams out there in Chicago. Looks good too. But like you said, Jordan Love, he's been looking good. He's in his second season as starting quarterback. He played a year or two behind Rodgers out there, just like Rodgers played behind Favre. And, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit of a Jordan Love hater. I didn't think he had it because he struggled in the first few times that he filled in for Rodgers. But I tell you what, he's come a long way. He's playing better. I'm going to call I was wrong. Man looks good. He's playing really good football right now. So, like I said, Green Bay to win that one. Now, that we were just talking, Caleb Williams, you got Chicago, but they're at Minnesota.
Minnesota all day. I mean,
Caleb's got a long, good future ahead of him.
Dalton's he's been like, what?
Well, he was with the Jets. I mean, what do you expect?
I understand.
He was with the Jets.
But this man, I mean, he's been balling right now. I mean, he's playing like he wants to be there 3 or 4 more years. Get that man a long contract.
Yeah, that's what they expected out of Sam Darnold when he got drafted. This is what they said. He had all the promise, all this, all that. Well, when you go to the Jets, as we're learning with Aaron Rodgers will tell you. Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer who was playing well last year in Green Bay. He still put up big numbers. They let him go, and he has done nothing.
Well, I mean,
with the Jets. I mean,
so we can say it's an organization and not the players.
Yes, organization. To me, the best thing they had going for him was Saleh, and they fired him.
There's only one man that could turn that organization around, and that man is Tom Brady. But too bad he retired, so we can't.
I thought you were going to say Bill Belichick. I was like, he's going to UNC.
Nah, if Tom Brady could go any team right now and make him a competitor right now, go.
Yeah, he's not. Maybe not even he could help the Jets right
now.
No,
I'm serious. He can at least get him to the first round of playoffs or something.
Playoffs?
Yeah. You see what he did in Tampa Bay? That man didn't even read the playbook. I got it. I'm going to use the.
We need to get a button that says that. Playoffs. We got to get one. We got more of playoffs. Playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's only one man, Thomas Edward Brady. That's it. That's it, man. That guy.
Doesn't even got to go to practice.
No, he didn't even read the playbook. No, he just showed up. Here's a helmet, Mr. Brady.
Here you go. Hey, we're gonna. Gronk, go get your football pants.
That's it. Hey, can I call some of my buddies that I can throw the ball to that can catch? All right, 1 second. Gronk, you want to come down in Florida and win a ring? Sure, bud. All right, I'll be there.
Yep, Gronk could be sitting there. He'll be doing the podcast with his boy Edelman, and they're both on their podcast there. Next thing you know, they'll both be getting their football pants wherever they go. You got Edelman and Gronk back out there playing again.
One more time for the fans. One more time.
So, for some reason, there's 2 Monday Night Football games. I can't tell you why. The second one is Atlanta at the Raiders.
Go ATL. You got to win this game.
You have to.
This is for you. Come
on. If you don't win this one, there's a serious problem.
Kirko, it's time to ball out. It's the Raiders.
Kirko. The man doesn't get hurt. I'll give him that.
Come on, Kirko. You failed us. You failed us at the homecoming this past weekend. We thought you was going to do so much more.
You stuck with him for about a half, and then the second half. Minnesota. Listen, Jefferson and Addison went
ridiculous,
crazy, and they were both on my fantasy team. Like, I had a huge fantasy week because they caught 5 touchdowns between the 2 of them.
Yeah,
3 for Addison, 2 for Justin Jefferson. I mean, it was insane. Like that was a massive game for Sam Darnold. He ended up with 5 touchdown passes.
Darnold's hooping.
So I think Atlanta has got to beat the Raiders, even though it's in Las Vegas. They're in Las Vegas, but it don't matter. They're the Raiders.
That just means you can gamble after the win. Go ahead and have some fun before you get back on the plane and fly back to ATL. Come on, Kirko.
They got to do it. So that's the NFL rundown for this week as we're getting closer to playoffs. Like you said, Buffalo's already got their division tied down. Same thing with Kansas City. Kansas City's got their division won. Pittsburgh's up by 2 games with 4 games left over Baltimore. So that could still go either way. But I don't see Pittsburgh giving up that division right there. They do have a tough schedule down the end here, but we'll see.
Boo.
You know, Detroit has only got. That's a crazy thing. Detroit's only got a 1-game lead over Minnesota.
Which is wild. Both teams playing like tremendously well.
And I think I might be wrong here. I think they still have to play each other one time down the stretch here.
Which will be a good matchup.
They got last game of the season, and I believe that's Detroit beat Minnesota in the first game, so Minnesota would have to win. I don't know how the conference would play out or how that would play out if they ended up in a tie, but the last game of the season, like I said, they got Buffalo this week, then they got Chicago and San Francisco. I don't see them having any troubles with those two teams.
Right.
Even though they did struggle. They almost let Chicago come back on Thanksgiving, but then they play at home. It's Minnesota at Detroit, the last game of the season. We'll get to that more later, but that could end up being for the whole. That could be for the whole NFC.
Yeah. For
the NFC, and then the other one's a wild card. Imagine going 14-3 and getting a wild card. Or if Detroit loses, you're 15-2 and getting a wild card.
Insane.
So that's something we'll get into. But switching gears to the NBA, we're in the NBA Cup. Quarterfinal games last night.
Great games.
Good games. Really good games. Moving on to the semifinals, Bucks beat the Magic. Bucks are coming back into what they were. What everyone panicked when they started like 1-7, 1-8.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone panicked. Giannis, they figured out Giannis. You don't figure out Giannis.
No.
You don't figure out a Greek freak.
Giannis is playing like 2019. He's playing like you can see there's a mission. He's hungry. The way he's always attacking that rim. But it just looks like he's doing so much more. Big blocks, running the floor. He's passing the ball. Only thing, and I see that he's even trying to do a little back to the basket, turnaround jumper off the glass. I like what's happening, and he's deciding to take the game over. He's not waiting for Dame.
No.
He's not waiting for all these other guys. Give me the ball and get out the way.
Well, and I think that was kind of the thing. He was at the beginning of the season. He was feeling out a couple of the newer teammates, newer guys, seeing how things were going to go. He's still Giannis. You don't. No one was ever gonna. No one came onto Kobe's team or Michael's team or anyone's team. Any of these big players. If you're the guy. You're the guy.
That's it.
You gotta. And it took them a while to get going, but they're right back into it. They're in the semi. They went right into the semis. It looks like they'll be playing the Thunder, who beat the Mavericks.
Another good squad.
So Thunder's only got 5 losses. They're leading by 3 games in the Western Conference. SGA's.
He's such a smooth. He's got such a smooth game. It's just I loved watching him and Kyrie last night go at it. I mean, just the way both of these guys they just play at their own pace. It's just beautiful basketball to see 2 talented guards go at it like that. Kyrie's still doing what Kyrie does. It's just amazing to see. Words can't even describe Kyrie. It's just like poetry in motion when I watch that guy play basketball.
Yeah, probably the best handles in the NBA
I've ever seen.
No offense, Steph Curry. Steph Curry's probably right there behind him. But
and Jamal Crawford and all the other guys that I think can handle the pill real well.
Yeah.
Even all the way down to Isaiah Thomas back in the day. But, man, dude, it looks like he literally has the ball on a string. I don't think I've ever seen anybody steal the ball from Kyrie. Listeners, watchers, if you can find a video of Kyrie getting stripped, dominated, beat up, killed, please post it right under the comments because I've
never seen one of his cookies.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Never seen it.
No, I mean, he's an amazing player, and it looks like he's finally found a place where he's comfortable and mental.
Yes.
I'm glad that his mental stuff is going well. I know he had some problems when he was, with my guys out there in Brooklyn.
Well, he thinks that the Earth is flat still. It's crazy.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff there. Obviously, he played well when he was with LeBron out there. As a matter of fact, I mean, in the playoffs, he may have in the finals there. He might have outplayed LeBron that year they won in Cleveland. But he's phenomenal. He's doing really well. But like I said, the SGA and that team, they're playing really well. They were too much. They ended up winning. So you have the Thunder and the Bucks going on the semifinals. Who's going to join them? I don't know. We'll find out tonight. Warriors at the Rockets.
Oh, Warriors got that. Come on.
They got to have that. That's too much experience. I think everyone's playing. I don't think they have anyone out. I know the Warriors are coming off a win against Minnesota. A couple days ago. Now they play in the quarterfinal against the Rockets. They are in the Rockets. That last loss that Warriors took, they were 3-0, and then took the L to Denver Nuggets for the Cup. Was dropped them from what would have been a 1 seed to a 3 seed out of the 4 teams. So they will be on the road for that one. And then the other teams in the Eastern Conference, Hawks at the Knicks. I know who.
I
know you don't want to pick the Knicks.
I don't want to pick the Knicks, so I'm not going to pick the Knicks. Let's go Hawks. Turn up. Again, shout out Pops. That's his team too.
Go
He's
Knicks.
Read everything.
Go Knicks.
Go Hawks.
Go Knicks.
The boy, what's my man's name? Little guard over there running around with the
Knicks.
They said he said his hair looks like a dandelion blowing in the wind. No, for Atlanta.
Trae Young.
Trae Young, yeah. Just recently signed to Nike, left Adidas. He's got something to prove. The other night he dropped like 22 assists. It was ridiculous. I mean, this man was diming up. Yeah, I think strong double-double. I mean, 20-something points, 20-something assists. I mean, he's playing. He's just. I think all it takes is just a new shoe deal to get guys. I guess refocus back on what they're doing because he was losing his mind.
I don't know what he got paid for, but Nike doesn't sign to.
No.
There's multiple commas in their deals.
Yeah, that's some money. Money was being made. So
yeah, so he's probably excited, and I know whenever I get a extra little bit of money, I get a little excited too.
Yeah, I get $20, I feel happier. Yeah. I don't know what shit. I couldn't even imagine.
That's gas money,
right? Could you imagine somebody's gonna give you a couple million more a year to just can you wear my shoes? Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna take the Knicks. I think Brunson.
I like him.
I like his game. He's got a great game. He's a hustler. I like hustlers. So.
The older I get, I can't really. I'll say this. I still hate New York teams. Don't get it twisted. But I don't really hate New York basketball teams anymore. Patrick Ewing is retired. So that was pretty much the only guy I really didn't like. Him and John Starks.
I didn't like Patrick Ewing all the way growing up. I mean, I was probably too young to remember him playing at Georgetown. But being a Syracuse guy, I didn't. I mean, we hated Georgetown. That was like the biggest rivalry in the Big East at the time was Georgetown versus Syracuse. You had John Thompson versus Jim Boeheim, and then they always were going back and forth at it. And then in the late '80s, early '90s, that's when Calhoun and Connecticut started.
Let's go
with your guys there. They started coming in there and going through. But there was a lot of teams back then, like teams that I miss nowadays in college basketball. Providence. St. John's, Villanova, a lot of those when they messed around with the Big East and everything, it kind of messed that up because they had a lot of really good teams up there that did really well. Came through. St. John's. I can't remember.
Seton Hall was up there.
Seton
Hall was up there.
They were all in the top 25 at one time or another. They were always doing well. And they kind of ruined all that when Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Miami, and Boston College all left for the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
So, stinks. I don't think it did Syracuse much good. But it's definitely one of those things where I miss those days with Syracuse playing those Big East games. That was fun to watch as a kid. I remember watching Carmelo. Our only national championship, Carmelo beating Kansas.
One and done. It's all he needed.
One and done. He went and played 1 year and then came out. And then he was the number 3 draft pick. LeBron was 1. Number 2 was Detroit picked like Milicic or whatever his name was.
Yeah, that was wild.
You picked Milicic.
Over Carmelo.
Over Carmelo. Oh, by the way, the guy that was taken like 7th or 8th, might have heard of him, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Was he any good?
Well, he's got a statue. It kind of doesn't look like him.
No, it looks
But
more like Lawrence Fishburne.
If you get a statue, yeah, it does. If you get a statue, though, they say you're good. So
if you get a statue, you
Yeah.
win. How many? He won what? 3 championships?
And he's one of the 50th greatest players
Yeah.
of all time. So you don't get on that list just because.
No.
That's not
Where
popularity.
did he go to school? Marquette?
Marquette.
Marquette.
Man, that dude stayed on the ground. This dude played so tough in college. Flash, man, what they call it, Wade County. Like all these nicknames serve a purpose for him because he really did put on for Miami.
I love Dwayne Wade.
Oh yeah,
Love Dwayne Wade.
yeah.
I always make the joke that they say that LeBron went down there and helped Dwayne Wade win. I was like, Dwayne Wade won one before he got there.
Right. That's a fact. He did.
He needed Dwayne Wade to win the championship, not the other way around.
And the what was good about Dwayne Wade, they talked about this. He gave the keys to LeBron.
Yeah.
He told LeBron, hey, you got it. You go ahead and drive the bus. I'm gonna sit right here on the side, and I'm just gonna tell you if I need to point you out a direction, we can do that. But I'm gonna let you drive this bus. And I mean,
be a support guy.
That's prime Bron, though. I mean, LeBron's head is at the rim every play.
Every play.
And I think if we're looking at that time frame of LeBron, that was like college LeBron.
Yeah, and to me, one of the most epic still shots you'll ever see in sports is like the toss up that Wade made, and he's got and LeBron just like he's looking through Wade down through the basket like
when you're doing this from a pass.
Yeah,
ta-da! You're having a good time.
That was amazing. I couldn't stand that team. That was back when I was in pure LeBron hate.
I loved watching
that. Was when I was in pure LeBron hate. But still, I mean, I'm a sports pure guy, and that was one of the most epic plays in NBA history. So,
man.
But I liked some of the players on the team. I liked Dwayne Wade. Ray Allen never played for any teams I liked, but he's Ray Allen. You can't dislike Ray Allen.
No. One of the best shooters in the world.
Chris Bosh was on that team. That team was so low. It's not even funny. That's why when people say, Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen and LeBron hasn't, I'm like, stop. Time out.
Yeah.
LeBron's had AD, Kyrie, Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade, Ray Allen, Chris Bosh. I mean, this man's been with 6 or 7 different Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
So, stop. LeBron's phenomenal. But don't say that, I would take Dwayne Wade. I'm probably in the negative here. I'd take Dwayne Wade over Scottie Pippen.
That is an absolute fact. Look, Scottie is dope. Don't get it twisted. Scottie can play defense.
Phenomenal defender.
He's got long hands, long arms. Like, dude is nasty. No one's taking anything from Scottie. Scottie is that guy. But Dwayne Wade, bruh,
I mean,
no way.
Picture Michael Jordan getting Dwayne Wade, Ray Allen, and Chris Bosh.
Come on.
Who was the best big man? Like,
they're not losing.
Yeah, who was the best big man Michael Jordan played with?
Best big man? Best big man.
Dennis Rodman was
Horace Grant.
He wasn't a big man, and Horace Grant wasn't.
He wasn't that big, but
he was
at that time,
middle.
He was considered big.
Yeah, I mean he was like a power forward.
We can't say Bill Winnington. We
No.
can't say Luke Longley.
If you're going center, probably Bill Cartwright.
But I mean, God,
can you remember his shooting?
Shot, the wind up. It went in though, so I mean, he's shooting better than some of these bigs right now.
You think about the 80s and 90s, the guys that won championships. The Lakers had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was good, wasn't he?
He was okay.
He was all right.
Yeah.
And then you had the Celtics had Parrish and McHale.
And McHale. They were legendary.
The Detroit Pistons, they had one championship. They won Lambeer.
He's dirtball.
But he was a jerk. He was a dirtball. But he was probably the least talented of all the big men, because after that you had
John Sally.
When it wasn't when you go into other teams in the 90s that won that weren't the Bulls, Akeem Olajuwon.
Oh, tough.
David Robinson and Tim Duncan.
The Admiral.
And then you come down into the early 2000s, Shaquille O'Neal.
Most dominant center ever.
Every other team had a dominant center outside the Chicago Bulls.
Yep.
Even the teams they were going against, the Patrick Ewings, the David Robinsons, the Charles Barkleys, all these other big teams that they played had dominant big men, except for the Bulls.
Yeah.
Yet they still won.
Yeah. Well, you had a guy named Michael Jordan.
He was okay.
He was just okay, too.
He was just okay. He was ranked just above Akeem Olajuwon.
Oof.
Do you can imagine how much they would have won Akeem the Dream if and some of these guys, Patrick Ewing, poor Patrick Ewing, he never even got a chance to play in the finals except for the 1 year. Didn't they play? No, they didn't. That was Shaq. They never even made it to a finals.
Nope.
He never even got a chance to go to a finals because of Michael Jordan. And then the 1 year it looked like they were going to, they got smacked around by Orlando.
Yeah.
With Shaquille O'Neal, who then went on and got swept by Houston.
Yeah.
Clyde the Glide. He was on that one, right?
Yeah.
He ended up coming on. He ended up finally getting his championship.
Sam Cassell, Vernon Maxwell, Hakeem. Yeah, I mean they had that. I mean that squad was. They had everybody that they needed to win those games. You had shooters. You had everything.
Get those 2 championships while Michael Jordan
was playing baseball.
Yeah,
and that's baseball. What I tell people. I was talking to a coworker the other day about. I said John Stockton, man, no one's gonna catch him in assists, even though. Shout out Chris Paul. He's second. He moved up from Jason Kidd. And I said, man, John Stockton was throwing darts. And, guy I was talking to, he wasn't really versed in basketball. So he says, and he's also younger. He's in his 20s. And he says to me, did he ever win? I said, well, win what? He said, a title. I said, no.
No one won a title.
They had a guy named Michael Jordan that they had to go up against every year. Michael Jordan ruined people's careers.
Karl Malone.
He hates Michael Jordan.
He hates Michael Jordan. I still love the Scottie Pippen walking up to him on the free throw in the championship. He had a clutch free throw. It was Sunday. He said, "Mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays."
They don't.
And your dad would know.
Well, they do now. They help Amazon out.
Do they really on Sundays?
Well, sometimes, especially in the holidays. Especially now the holidays, they'll
shout
help
out to them working out on the holidays.
So now they will. But, my dad's about to retire now.
Is he not retired yet?
No, he retires next month.
What's he on, year 85?
Yeah, man.
That man's a working man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy for him. So happy he's going to retire.
Yes.
He deserves that and then some. So.
Man, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, man. But Michael Jordan, he absolutely ruined people's career. They hate him to this day. So, hey, what can you do?
He was an asshole too. Everyone will tell you. Even his own teammates said
absolutely.
He was an asshole. But
he won games, and he expected.
He put ring on a lot of guys'
fingers, man. I mean, and that would be the only separation that I would say that could bump Jordan over like we were comparing LeBron and Jordan. He never lost. He never lost in a finals game. He literally. Every time you knew that you were going to face Jordan in a big game, you're about to lose. See, it's up in the air, even with somebody like LeBron, who is phenomenal.
Great.
He's amazing.
We're comparing him to Michael Jordan.
But this is Mike we're talking about. And we can sound a little biased because we're a little older, but we've seen what dominance looks like. We've seen both. We know what we like. Even if you say our opinions can be, oh, well, what about this? What about this? What about this stat? That's all cool. But wins and losses is the only stat at the end of the day that's going to matter. You could have 1 trillion points, but if you never won a ring, then you don't know what it's like to be a champion. I don't care. Go ask Dan Marino what it's like to shatter records, be considered one of the best quarterbacks of all time. How many rings that man got?
None. 0.
See?
I can tell you.
Come on.
I'm a Dolphins guy. His uniform is right there.
Let me move out the way just in case you guys never seen it.
Yeah, that's
come on.
That's Dan the man. And listen, he put up numbers that are only now seen nowadays. 20 years before they happened.
Crazy.
He got more yards in like a 5-year span than guys like Troy Aikman had in their whole career.
But they'll say Troy Aikman is better. Why?
Because he won 3
He's got rings. So, and that's what they'll say.
I can't, what am I going to argue? I mean, he got 3 rings. I mean, he had a better running game, but, in the end, it comes down to we don't play to get yards. We don't play for points.
Nope.
We don't play for home runs. We play, who was it? We play to win the game. That's what you play to do. All right, I mean, that's what it comes down to. If you can find a bigger New York Yankee fan to me, good luck, other than maybe my daughter. Stat girl, she's not here. But I will tell you this. Aaron Judge is ridiculed because he doesn't perform at Aaron Judge level in the playoffs. So put in perspective, it's just he's expected to be on such a different level. Yes, his batting average was just under 200 in the playoffs this year, but he he was, and we're going to get into this now. He was one less home run than Juan Soto in the playoffs.
Right.
2 less RBIs than Juan Soto in the playoffs, and the same amount of extra base hits. Most people think Juan Soto just absolutely destroyed him in stats in the playoffs. He didn't. They were fairly close, but Soto had one massive home run. Let me tell you, this massive home run came in Game 5 of the ALCS. The Yankees were up 3-1. They were in extra innings. Every game was close. So even though it was 3-1, it felt like it was a 3-3 series. Juan Soto walked it off, sent the Yankees to the World Series. That home run, in my opinion, made him another $150 to $200 million.
Woo!
Because let's talk about 15 years,
right?
$765 million.
Million.
And let me tell you, in baseball, that's all guaranteed.
All of it.
Now he does have the option at the end of the year 5 or 6 to opt out himself and try to go for another one. But
why would you?
The Mets have the option to counter and give him more money. If he does opt out, they can pay him this amount and he has to stay, which would put the contract to $804 million. That's over $750 million.
To do something you're really good at.
I mean, and guys, let's put this in perspective. He had 41 home runs this year. That's his career high. And he just 26. He just turned 26. He's been in the league for about 6 or 7 years. His career high this year, 41 home runs. I believe he had a career high in RBIs, maybe not quite in RBIs. He had like 112 RBIs. And he batted .288. Now, for big baseball people, in baseball now, .288 is pretty good. I think it was 18th in the league in batting average. 41 home runs was 4th. And I believe he was 6th in RBIs. So if you look at those numbers, and you look at the players around him, and he put up his best numbers this year with 41 home runs and RBIs, his best power numbers, because there was a guy named Aaron Judge batting behind him.
Right.
So what were you going to do? You couldn't pitch around him. Were you going to put an extra guy on base for Aaron Judge?
You can't do that.
No. So he had his best numbers ever, but they still, to compare, 41 home runs, Aaron Judge had 58.
Oh, that mercy.
He had 118 RBIs. Judge had 144. And batting average, Judge was 3rd in the league. He was 16th. Soto was 16th. He was .288 for Soto. Judge was like .324.
Wow.
So Judge destroyed him in every offensive category. Yeah. He had 1 less home run in the playoffs. He had 2 less RBIs in the playoffs, but he didn't have that one big monumental moment home run. Now, he did hit the home run to tie the game. They ended up losing it in Game 1 of the World Series. That right there would have been the monumental moment for Judge, but then Freddie Freeman ended all that. But they didn't remember Judges because Freddie Freeman hit the home run to win the game. But like I said, he is making $11 million a year more than what Judge is. His guaranteed money is $445 million more than what Judge got. Now Judge is a little bit older. Judge got 8 at 320. But he got 765, so he got $445 million more, and he's only 5 or 4 years younger than what Judge was when he signed his contract. So he's getting an extra $110 million per year over because of 4-year age gap. That just shows, number one, what Ohtani's contract did last year,
right,
at $700 million. But it just shows you what, how a big hype, a big media hype can do. Because and I think for me, Soto, he didn't leave the Yankees because of money. The Yankees offered him 16 years, $760 million. So they were within $5 million. And they were 1 more year. And the Yankees said they weren't even given the option to match. So I think if the Yankees were offering $760, they would have offered $765 to keep him.
Right.
My big thing is I don't think Soto wanted to stay because Soto, and this isn't a knock on him. If you want to be the guy, you want to be the guy. I understand. He was never going to be the guy in New York, in the Yankees.
No.
He was not going to, with the Mets, he's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
100%. He's going to be the guy. You can tell he has an ego where he wants to be the guy, he wants to be leader. He was never going to be the captain of the Yankees. That's a big deal for the Yankees, is naming a captain. They've only had like 6 in the last 100 years. And Judge is that guy. You look at the numbers, Judge dominates them. They aren't even in the same conversation piece when it comes to numbers.
Right.
So I think that was part of it. Now, I think he's crazy because now he's going to go to the Mets. Who's going to bat behind him now and keep him from pitching around him? He's not going to see those fastballs anymore. He's going to have to either take a walk or swing at pitches that aren't as good to hit.
Right.
So, but 765.
It's a lot of money. I don't give a damn who's batting before, after.
He don't care anymore either.
I don't give a damn. That's a lot of money. I'm the man now. I'm still playing in New York. You know, I might have some Yankee fans that don't like it, but hey, come out and see the game.
He's got to do what's best for him. Like, I don't get. If he'd have went to Red Sox, I'd been a little more upset.
I was waiting.
Red Sox offered $15,700.
I was waiting.
The Red Sox gave a pretty big offer out there. That's crazy too, because the new guy out there in the Mets isn't that guy. He don't like doing that.
Right.
So for them to offer $700 million, that's pretty impressive. I mean, he was trying to do some, but I think he knew that wasn't going to be enough. A lot of people were saying he made that offer knowing that both New York teams were going to beat him, but he wanted to be able to say he made the offer. So
I can dig it.
But like I said, that was Soto being. I think Soto just wants to be the guy, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
I don't think that's I don't want people to think I'm knocking Juan Soto for taking it. I don't want people to think I'm a big Yankee fan, and I hate to see him go. Great player, but like the Yankees, the next day turned around and signed like a guy that's played about 50, 60 games above 500 the last like 6 seasons as a pitcher. He's a lefty. Fried is his last name. He's a big time pitcher. Coming over from Atlanta, was I think their number 2 starter last year. Obviously, Chris Sale won the Cy Young, but they signed him for 8 years, $200 million. And that's a ton of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's like $25 million a year.
I'll take it.
But they could get 3 guys now for what they were going to play for Soto,
right?
And they don't have to waste their whole budget on one guy. They're dropping $90 million off their payroll this year, supposedly, of guys that are heading out, that are aging out and stuff like that. So they just paid a guy $25 million. They're still got $65 million left to spend to even get to where they were last year. So to me, it was crazy. I've never seen free agency tied up because of one man. All the players were waiting for Soto to sign because we're not going to sign knowing that all the big boys have all the money, are busy with that. We're not going to sign with someone else until we hear what the big boys have to say. But the big boys weren't offering anyone money until they found out who Soto was going with. So everything was like frozen. The only big player really had been signed was Blake Snell with the Dodgers, and it's because the Dodgers had basically said, "Yeah, we're not going to sign Soto."
Go Dodgers.
So they decided that they would take that. They went ahead and took like I said, the Dodgers went ahead. They still have Freddie Freeman. They still have Mookie Betts. They got Blake Snell, and they still got Yakamoto or whatever, the Japanese pitcher that came over, and then obviously they still got Ohtani.
We miss you, Mookie.
Yeah. Mookie, you can. I mean, we'd be more than happy to pay your
that's
$300. I mean, they got that man at a discount.
That's a nasty squad
over there. Dude, they're. I don't care. Like the Mets signed Soto.
Yeah, it don't matter.
That's why I understand. Like Soto, you like to win, right? Because they have all this money they spent, but they don't. I mean, they got Francisco Lindor. Shout out Lindor. Lindor is a phenomenal player. He was second, I think, in the MVP voting behind Ohtani this year in the National League. But other than that, I mean, I don't see the Mets still won't be the best team in New York. I don't.
No, they'll just be paying a man a lot of money.
So we'll see. I mean, they what's his name? Cohen, Mr. Billionaire is all about spending money. Maybe he gets a couple more big guys, but I'm hard to pay a guy.
They'll sell out more. They'll sell more tickets. That's for sure.
Yep. I mean, it's New York. They always gonna. That's one thing. New York fans, we are crazy. We will come and fill the stadium no matter how shitty our team is.
Which is dope.
So that's what you should be. Support your team.
Yeah.
Like but that being said and everything, that's kind of a little bit of baseball stuff here. We haven't covered a lot of baseball yet. It is December.
It is December.
It's holiday time. Merry Christmas, everyone. Or whatever holiday that you celebrate.
Merry Chrysler.
So, one thing I'm going to cover, Brandon, I want to go over this. I'm not going to call any names because I ain't trying to cancel it. Okay. And I talked to you a little bit about this the other day when I came over to your house. Man, guys, if you're a youth coach out there, understand what you're signing up for.
Yep.
Not all kids are the same. Not all kids have the same luxuries you may have. Not all parents have the same time you may have. But if you're going to sign up to coach, note that you're going to be coaching many different personalities. You're going to be coaching many different kinds of kids who may be going through some at home, or they may just have some learning disorders, or there's all kinds of things out there. Me and Brandon have coached a team together. We've both done coaching before in the past. I've coached baseball and basketball and softball pretty much for the last 25 years. Since I coached for the first time in my life when I was like 15 or 16, assistant coaching, head coached my first team when I was like 19 or 20 years old. I've been coaching for years, and I've coached many different kinds of players. And my 8-year-old son had to go through something that I've never seen before in my life. He went to his first basketball practice. He's been very excited about basketball. He went ahead and has been practicing in the backyard for the last couple months. As soon as baseball season ended, he went in the backyard. He's been playing horse with me or taking some shots. He wanted to practice shooting and stuff. Nothing serious. He isn't out there, spending hours on end. He goes out there 30 minutes at a time for the last couple months, a few days a week. And he goes to his first basketball practice. My son, he does have some issues. He gets over emotional, loud noises and lots of stuff going on around him. Stimulus makes him anxious. It can make him get angry easy. He's very easily set off. Suffers from ADHD, which he's done well with. He's getting better with in school. His teachers, everything. He goes to practice. Some things happen. Ball gets taken from him, stuff like that. He gets upset, starts crying, and walks off the court. Coach goes over and talks to him for a few minutes, and then coach has to go back to coaching the team. And then my son, after a few minutes, he gets up and he rejoins back the team. And he's a big boy and he's physical, and he's there's bumping and stuff, and he doesn't quite understand the game. He's got to be coached on it. And then there was a running after the ball, and my son and our young man went after the ball, and in it they're boys. They got in a little skirmish in the side, rustling over the ball, and the one kid pushed my son in the face, and my son says that he acted like he was going to bite him, and went to act like he was going to bite him because the kid was pushing him in the face. And he says he didn't bite down. I wasn't there. My better half, she said that, she didn't see it happen. Nothing was brought to the attention. Nothing. No one came to his mom and said, hey, this happened. No coach came over and said, hey, we got to work on Gavin's, attitude at practice. No one came over during the practice and said, we need you to go over and have a conversation with your son. No one came over and said, hey, your son just, hurt another player. Nothing. We heard nothing. I got told about the practice. I unfortunately got called into work. We have to work sometimes. I'm at 99.9%. My kids will tell you, Stat Girl will be the one here to tell you, I'm there. I coached a lot of teams. I guess I'm going to have to coach my son from now on when it comes to this stuff. I felt bad not being there with this happening. But the next morning, my wife sends me a text message with an email that she received. He got kicked off the team. We didn't get talked to. This came from a board member. The coach reached out to the board member, said that he was unsportsmanlike, called the other players' names, and bit another player. So therefore he was kicked off because they were a zero-tolerance policy for violence. Now my question is why didn't the kid that hit my kid in the face get kicked off?
Because zero tolerance means absolutely none.
Zero, right?
Zero
Tolerance. Violence is violence. You hit a kid in the face,
yeah,
you bite,
yep.
Whatever it is. But we didn't even get a breakdown of the altercation. That we just get told that's why he was kicked off. We didn't know the altercation happened. We didn't know what was going on. So he gets unsportsmanlike. The name calling turned out when he got the ball stripped from him. He said, "This is stupid." He didn't call anyone stupid. He said, "This is stupid." So evidently that was calling the whole team stupid, according to what we were told.
Okay.
So, but this was through an email.
Right.
We got zero call, no talk to by the coach during the practice or whatever. No one talked to us before the practice. No one called us beforehand. We got an email to tell us when practice was. We got an email to tell us, what the schedule was going to be. We got an email to tell us that our kid was kicked off. And then after I responded to the email, left my phone number, everything, letting them know that, with him being diagnosed with ADHD and different things, this is violating some ADA laws, Disability Act laws.
Right.
You can't just boot a kid without even looking into it or seeing what happens. We didn't get asked what happened. My son didn't get asked what happened.
You just kicked him
You
off
just
the
kicked
team.
him off the team. Nothing else. We get nothing else. And it says in there, your decision is final. They did refund us immediately. But it's his first practice.
Yeah, it's principle.
First practice of the season. We don't get nothing. He's 8.
They could
8
definitely
years
handle
old.
that so much better.
Could have given me a phone call.
A text, anything.
A text, something. Can we get a human being, like response? And then they turn around, and after I send an email about my displeasure, and we'll just not going to go there. I didn't use curse words. I didn't call anyone names, but it was very stern in the email. Did they email me back? No. They emailed his mom back. The coach reached out and said, basically, this is what happened. But here's the funny part. He listed he had to take a bunch of his time to go over and try to calm Gavin down, and that he had to list, he had to go over and he had to, Gavin was getting angry at the other players. He didn't list the incident until the 4th and final paragraph.
Mm.
The incident of the biting, that was way down the line. In the paragraphs, he wrote how he wasn't going to have the time to be able to coach him like that because they had to get the team ready so they can compete and be able to compete against the other teams. It's a 9U league. 9U. I didn't realize the most important thing in 9U was to win a trophy.
It's fundamentals at this point.
Yeah, not teaching a kid or trying to help a kid learn the game or teach him how to handle certain situations.
Yeah.
We're here to win games.
What are you winning?
At 9U. What are you going to win? Little 8. I can run up to the store real quick and get you 15 trophies for every kid for like $75.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Like that's the part that got me. He was more worried about winning a 9U game. Couldn't call us, still couldn't make phone. We still to this moment have not received a phone call.
And you won't.
Nothing. We won't. I'm not going to call the person out. My daughter was maybe the most upset about it of everybody. She actually went and found this. She went through and hunted people down on Facebook and stuff. I said, Kayla, we don't like that girl should be a private investigator. She found everyone. She found the board member. She found the coaches. She found out who their friends were of people she knew. I'm like, dang, Kaylee, you crazy stat girl. That's why she's stat girl. She
finding stuff.
So, exactly it just as a coach, I've had players come from all walks of life who have rough backgrounds, who have very, parents who've provided very well, parents, single moms who do everything they can for their kid.
Right.
That they can, not always a lot, but they do their best. And I've coached all these different kinds of kids with learning disabilities. Never have I even thought of kicking a kid from a team, especially at 8 years old.
No, it just does so much for their psyche, their mental. I mean, so basically what you're telling me, you could have scarred the little man from playing basketball moving forward. Yeah. I used to coach Special Olympics teams, so I definitely understand when it comes to coaching in that aspect, especially coaching Special Olympics, you have to handle these children with so much more care than normal. So, me and a friend coached her brother and the rest of the special needs team. And you talk about patience. You talk about having a patience for kids that you're used to coaching kids that could run up and down the court and, do this and do that. But now we're dealing with a different type of situation where this kid has one arm, or this kid is deaf, or this kid can't see out of one eye. And it was the best experience I've ever had because it taught me so much, to be grateful of what you do have, because daily we take for granted just our normal motor functions. You can get up and you can walk around and you can blink and smell and hear and you don't need assistance. That's 100% blessing. But for a coach that, especially coaching children, it's not about winning at this point. It's about showing that these kids that A, somebody cares, B, that somebody cares that's just not their parents. So if you have a problem, you could come to coach. If there's an issue that you feel comfortable talking about, you could come to coach. But
exactly.
It's one of those things where you make a child feel scared to even want to play basketball, practice, do this, do that, express their feelings on the court, or play hard because, I might get kicked off the team now. I can't do this. I might get kicked off the team now because it happened before. And that's not how you deal with children.
No, listen, if you had said, hey, he has to sit on the bench the first game,
fine.
I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah.
That's called disciplining. This wasn't disciplining. You got rid of something that was going to be a challenge for you. And that's what you're teaching these kids. If there's a challenge, quit.
Yep.
If there's a challenge,
It's
quit.
too hard, quit.
And they put in there that these are all volunteers and they aren't trained to handle situations that they shouldn't have to handle situations. That's funny because this stat girl found this. In their actual bylaws, it says all coaches have to go through a training class. We had to go through it.
We did. I did.
We had to go through the training class and sit down and understand. And it literally talks about kids in there who have some disabilities and that you have to treat them the same.
Absolutely.
So to me, it was crazy. I do not understand, and I'm sure no one. We aren't quite big enough yet to where anyone's going to hear about. Maybe, who knows? Maybe this is what blows us up.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hey, so
shout out to Gavin.
Shout out to Gavin.
Sorry, bud. Sorry you had to go through that. It's crazy.
But he's excited about other endeavors. We've talked to him about some other things, some other sports, and he wants to. He still wants to. After talking for a little bit, he does want to try basketball again at a later date. And obviously he'll be out there with me and Uncle B over here.
Absolutely.
But just remember, if you're going to sign up to coach a team, you're not just coaching your kid.
Right.
I've coached many teams. All those teams I told you when I was younger, none of them. I didn't have kids on any of those teams. I coached it because I want kids to learn. Yes, my latest teams, my son's on the team I coach now. My baseball team, I did help out with Gavin's baseball team, Jaden's baseball team, my daughter's softball team. I coached all those teams, but I coached, and you could pretty much get for pretty much all my players that played for me, they will tell you I coached all of them, and I tried to do my best for them. And I still, talk to a lot of these young men and women, and that's what a lot of them are now, about how they think, sports and coaching and stuff like that affected them on their work ethic now and what they do in their jobs now. Because let's get something straight. Gavin, they're 9U. Ain't nobody out there, Michael Jordan. Everyone deserves to be able to play the game. Everyone deserves a chance to play the game.
Yep.
We play it. I wasn't going pro in basketball. That's for damn sure.
I know I wasn't.
I have fun with it. I'm better than now I'm about the average player, but I'm better than the average rec center player, that's just, going out there shooting around. But I'm nowhere near a high-level college player, middle-level college player at now. Even when at my peak, I was, I might have been able to play with some JUCO-level players. But those are great. But that doesn't mean I don't deserve to get to play the game.
Right.
Because, and then the coach decides, yeah, this kid's going to keep us from winning that 9U championship.
God forbid.
Let's use some reasons to get rid of him. But not caring who they hurt in the process. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. If you're thinking about coaching a team, I know Brandon got a little one on the way, and I know eventually he'll have her in some kind of sport. All of them. And he might even get me to go out there on the softball field with her. We'll go out there together. We'll coach softball team. And so if you're going to go out there, you're going to coach. Remember, be patient with the kids. They're doing, their best of what they know how. It's your job as a coach to teach them how to get better.
Yeah.
Both not just at the sport, but to get better on how to learn the sport.
And be a better person.
Be a better person. You might not believe that. You don't think that's your job as a coach in youth sports to help a player be a better person? Stop.
It is.
Stop coaching now.
Stop coaching right now. Exactly.
You're not there to just help them win trophies.
Yep. Stop coaching right now.
You're there to help them be a better person. When they start getting to 12, 13 years old, you're teaching them how to be a better young man or young woman.
Yes.
And when they become 15, 16, 17, you're teaching them how to take this into the real world, because only 0.00001% get to play it at a professional level. So they're going to have a different job. And female, it's even lower.
Yeah.
So you're teaching them how to take this and use it in life.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that's your job as a coach, then don't coach.
Right.
I appreciate volunteers out there that have to do it, but someone else will have to step up and do it, because you're hurting kids at that point if you're only out there to help them, teach them how to win games.
Because you're not going to win every game.
Nope.
That's for sure.
To me, teaching a kid how to handle a loss is more important than teaching them how to win, because anybody can win well.
Right.
It's how you handle a loss, because guess what, guys? Life is full of failures. It's how you handle the failures.
Yep.
It's how you move forward from the failures.
That's a fact.
And that's what I've been telling Gavin about this. Gavin, it's not about what happened. Obviously, I'm not condoning some of the stuff my son did, but he's got to learn. And I've talked to him about it. We had a conversation about how he needs to act, but going forward, and he completely understands now. And it's not to say it's going to be the last time he has an outburst.
Right.
But it's a teaching moment. It's a failure for him, and everyone takes it as a dirty word, like, oh, you're a failure. Yes, everyone's a failure at some point in their life.
Yeah, everybody failed at something.
Everyone failed at something at one point in their life. It's how you move forward. I'm sounding very Sylvester Stallone like.
But it's facts.
But it's how you move forward. Sylvester Stallone was living out of a car when he wrote Rocky.
And look at him now.
That's why he comes up with that stuff. Matt Damon he dropped out of college. He was going to Harvard, but he dropped out of college because his drama teacher gave him a C- on his screenplay that he wrote. So he dropped out. That C- ended up being Good Will Hunting. So just because someone of authority tells you something, he was respectful. He said, okay, no problem. He moved on, and then he made better of it. Just because someone has authority, I'm not telling you to go and be disrespectful, but doesn't mean they're right.
Right.
Be respectful to authority, but don't always trust it.
Right.
So that's going to be my go out with this thing. I hope everyone enjoys the football, basketball coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Hope everyone enjoys that. I appreciate everyone listening. I appreciate everyone if you listen to that end there, and appreciate you letting me vent to you. And I appreciate if you watch and like, subscribe, comment.
Always like, subscribe, comment. Be kind, man. Love people. It's the holidays.
Yes.
And always, since it's the holidays, just be very mindful. The holidays aren't fun for everyone. Some people are missing loved ones. Loved ones leave us during the holidays. Mm-hmm. So just be kind. Be very, very mindful of people's, what people have going on, because everybody's not smiling on these days. Everybody's not happy around these days. So just try to be kind, be thoughtful, and just try to be better humans every day, man. Because
yes.
We look around our world right now, and sometimes we can feel defeated. It's almost like the world's in shambles. You got people killing people for no reason, and we just need more love. So I'm always going to preach positivity and love on everything that I do. So I want to leave out with that.
Yeah, be positive. Hey, guys, if you go out to eat, you go to the grocery store during the holiday season, remember those people are out there working.
Yeah.
During the holidays, it's a very stressful time.
Absolutely.
We've both worked in retail, worked in the grocery business during the holidays. We both worked retail during the holidays.
Yeah.
Restaurant workers, I did a long time in restaurants and stuff like that. These people, it's stressful. It's a stressful time to be there. It's stressful for everyone. Everyone's spending extra money they may or may not have.
That's a fact.
So be kind to people, because you don't know what people are going through. It's honestly a big time of year for heart attacks and things like that, because people are going through stress. Something you say to someone in kindness may change their day, may change their health.
Yeah.
So say something kind to someone today. Do something kind for someone tonight,
Please,
tomorrow, this week.
Tell somebody that you love them this week.
Yes, tell everyone that you love. Tell them you love them, because you never know. Yep. So with that, thank you everybody for being here. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Jesus.
And have a good night. Peace.